My name is Sam Nasr, and this is the Global AI Night 2021, hosted from Cleveland, Ohio. Glad you could all join us. We have a great lineup for you tonight, but before we get started, just wanted to go through a couple announcements. First of all, wanted to give a big thank you to the global AI community and wanted to go through some general information. First and foremost, please keep in mind that participation is highly encouraged. We always encourage questions, and always keep in mind that the only stupid question is the one that is not asked. Chances are, if you have a question in mind, that someone else likely has that same question, and we're trying to make it as much of a roundtable discussion as much as possible. So with that, you can jump in either verbally or through the chat window with any questions. However, kindly ask you that if you're not speaking or commenting, to kindly mute your microphone to avoid any background noise for the others. Also, we want to keep it organized but casual at the same time, so feel free to jump in at any point with a question or comment or share experiences, but at the same time, we want to keep it organized so that everyone has a chance to chime in and the speakers have a chance to go through their demos thoroughly. As you might have noticed, this meeting is being recorded, and all the presentations will be edited and posted on YouTube at a later time, and that link will be shared with you later. I'd like to give a big thank you to our sponsors, Global AI Community, which is empowered by Microsoft to create these type of events, and also NIS Technologies for sponsoring the go-to meeting as well as the recording of the presentations. If you haven't heard of the Global AI Community, basically it is an organization that is empowered by Microsoft, and they host a variety of different events related to artificial intelligence and machine learning. The Global AI Night is an effort that has been taking place this April, and as you can see, Cleveland is one of 6 locations worldwide to be hosting this event. So we're very happy to be doing it. What specifically is the Global AI Community? Their vision is to connect AI communities across the world and user groups, and to be able to empower those that are interested in AI and machine learning to be able to gather and share information and resources. And so they do this by sponsoring a variety of different events. They host 3 global AI events across 100 locations worldwide, sometimes even more, depending on the participation level. So I encourage you to check out their website at globalai.community, and also I will be sharing that link with you later. This event would not be possible if it wasn't for our great speakers and volunteers. So starting from left, at the top left, Louis Beltran, who's going to be joining us from the Czech Republic, followed by Brian Korzinski and Veronika Kolishnikova, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. And then Hassan Savran, which is an MVP from the Cleveland, Ohio area. And then last but not least will be Vinay Venkatesh from the San Francisco Bay Area, and he'll be talking about image classification. So we have a great lineup of speakers. We're going to be covering a variety of different topics related to machine learning, SQL Edge, image classification, and so forth. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to our local Cleveland C# VB.NET user group. I've been hosting that group since 2003, which seems like quite a long time, but it's a great effort that I've been very privileged and enjoy participating in regularly. The meetings are free of charge every month. We cover a variety of topics related to .NET and C# and VB. And sometimes it's AI topics, sometimes SQL Server related topics. But chances are, if you're working in the AI or machine learning realm, that you're going to be working with other C# related topics. So I invite you to connect with us. The link there is on meetup.com, and you'll see all future as well as past meeting information posted on the website. Again, meetings are free of charge and open to the public, and our next meeting will be happening 2 days from tonight on Thursday, the 22nd. So the agenda for tonight, I'm going to go through a brief introduction that should take us through about 4:15. And then at that time, Louis Beltran will start discussing the Azure Video Indexer and how to extract video and audio content from there. And then between every session, we're going to have a 10-minute break to give you a chance to use the restroom, grab a drink, and get ready for the next session. So this should take us up until about 10 p.m. Eastern Standard. Again, active participation is always encouraged. I know it's a little bit of a long stretch, but keep in mind you're at home. Always feel free to get up, walk around, and then rejoin the meeting. So we talked about machine learning and how it's going to be covered in one of tonight's presentations. So what specifically is machine learning? Essentially, it's basically a reiterative task that allows you to be able to identify a task, run it through, and then measure the performance and the metrics, and then improve it again with experience over time. So as Tom Mitchell stated, it is a computer program is set to learn to perform a task T from experience E if its performance at task E as measured by a performance metric improves with experience E over time. What that's essentially saying in a very algebraic type of manner is that essentially machine learning is an iterative process. You learn, relearn, and adjust, and then continue to relearn again. Having said that, a lot of times machine learning is confused with AI versus DL or deep learning. And how do we know what is what and where do we draw the line? Essentially, machine learning is the pattern that machine learning is using patterns and inferences from data rather than explicit programming to perform a task. So essentially, we're allowing the machine to learn what a specific task is, and then we can build on that by using sensors, which will give us artificial intelligence. And then so we build on machine learning to get AI, and then we can continue to build on machine learning in addition to that and be able to utilize deep learning. And with deep learning, we're using layers of machine learning methods to create networks that mimic the human's ability to think and to be able to decipher things. If you've looked at Azure Cognitive Services, there's a slew of different services that are available. There you see the 5 different categories, and within each category, there are several different subcategories. For example, with vision, we have computer vision, and we also have video indexers, which we'll be talking about in the coming presentation. If you look at speech, we have speech to text, speech recognition, text to speech, and a variety of different services that are offered. If you don't have an Azure membership, you can qualify for one free of charge for a trial period, which I believe will last 12 months. And so it gives you the ability to experiment with it and be able to use different levels of that service. So I know many of you are not AI experts, but you're here to learn, which I admire you for that, and I am right there with you. So how many of you are using AI or ML in your current jobs? And let me just take a peek in the chat window and see if anyone is willing to volunteer and answer. Okay, so no one is volunteering an answer, but I imagine that there are some and others that are not using machine learning on their current job that want to. And again, that is very commendable. And the reason why that's commendable is because you are going to be looking at yourself as an innovator, and you're going to distinguish yourself as a leader, not a follower. You're looking to see what the future has to bring, which is AI and ML, and how we can utilize that in our current jobs. So hats off to you if you're not using AI currently and wanting to learn and push forward. This is one of my favorite quotes that I always like to cover. Henry Ford, if I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses. And what he's trying to say here is essentially people get stuck in their single way of thinking that they don't think outside the box. And so what the hope is, other than gaining information on how to use AI and ML, is to actually take it back to your workplace, to your clients, and be able to facilitate the knowledge that you gained here today into advancing your own careers and your own jobs.